Hello, welcome back to my bench. Today, I've got on the bench a keyboard. Now, this is not a video about keyboards. This is a video about my spectrum analyzer. Here it is. It is an ESA-L1500A by Hewlett-Packard that I got for a really good price, probably because it didn't work right. I ended up having to order a motherboard for it. It had some really strange problems. I can't even remember what they were anymore, but it wouldn't work right. Got the motherboard from overseas. I believe it was Italy, and plugged it in there, and it works just fine. And I love it. It's a great little spectrum analyzer. It does not go down to 200 or 300 hertz resolution bandwidth, so I can't use it for doing AM radio stations, but yeah, for everything else I do, it's more than adequate. I was playing around with it, and I found out that it has a keyboard input. Where you can do a lot of stuff with it with a keyboard, so that you don't have to reach way over here and up in the air to get to it, and or have it way across the bench. You can have a keyboard and just plug in your commands for what you want it to do. That's really neat. I mean, you can also do it through a RS-232 interface, but I do not have that option on here. The option I've got is for the IEEE 488 and the parallel port on the back for a printer. But that's for programming, and you program it in BASIC, I guess, and you can just pump it in through the serial port. I don't really need that because I don't use it for that function to be automated. I just use it for to look at radios and tuning things and stuff like that. So anyhow, I wanted to show you what all you can, or some of what you can do with the keyboard. There are lots and lots of commands, and we'll just get into a few of them here. So let's bring up the picture. There it is. That is the SpecAn. I've messed with the video output a little bit so that you can see it better. It's in non-inverted. So it's black. It's white text on black background, but it shows up better on the screen on a blue background. As you can see right now, I'm looking at about 468 megahertz with a span of 101 megahertz. That would be one of the television stations in town. Resolution bandwidth of 1 megahertz, video bandwidth of 300 kilohertz. And right now I'm in SpecAn. So there's a couple of ways you can get information into your SpecAn with the keyboard. We'll go through the easiest one first. The easiest one is done with the F keys up here on the top. The first thing you have to do is you have to hit the pause break key to find out what mode you're in. This says right now mode title. So if I type in a title, let's say I'm in caps lock. Well, we'll leave it. Using a keyboard, and then hit enter. Now you can see up there underneath the HP logo, it says using a keyboard. So you can make titles for what you want to do if you wanted to print it out. I don't have a printer. I don't have a printer that's got a regular old Centronics printer port on it anymore, so I can't do that. I suppose I could pick one up for next to nothing, but I don't really have a need for it. Then you hit the pause break again, and that puts you in command mode. So now that you're in command mode, there's several things you can do. Let's say that we wanted to change frequencies that we're on. Well, you've got F9 through F12 are the functions for your different for frequency, span, amplitude, and I forget what the other one is. Well, let's hit it. It's F9, measure. So for measurements. So let's hit F10. That takes us to frequency. And I want to set a center frequency of, let's get something. I've got a little antenna sitting on the thing. It's, I don't know, let's say 99.7. I want to tell it this megahertz, which in this is MZ. And I hit enter. Now I'm on 99.7 megahertz with a span of 101 megahertz. So that doesn't show me much. That shows me everything in there on the entire band because I'm going a long ways. So hit F11. That takes you into the span. And I want the span to be, I don't know, 1 megahertz. So now I'm on 1 megahertz with a center frequency of 99 megahertz, 99.7 megahertz, and there we can see it. There's a little bit of something there. It isn't much of an antenna. There you go. It's bouncing around, and so you can hit that. That's how you get to that. If you hit F12, that'll give you amplitude, and you can set your reference level. Right now, it says that the reference level is 0 dBm. So let's say minus 30 dBm. Hit enter. Okay, so that brought my reference level, the top line there, to a minus 30. And it's showing me that I'm down 100 dB down. But we don't know where that's at. So that's how you do just those particular things. However, let's go back to frequency, F10, and let's say I want to set a start frequency and a stop frequency. Well, I can do that by hitting the F1 through F7 keys. Those correspond to the selections underneath whatever mode you're in this case, frequency. The first one's center frequency, then start, stop, center frequency, step auto, frequency offset, and signal tracking. So if I hit F2, that'll bounce me down to start frequency. Let's put in a start frequency of 88 megahertz. Okay. And a stop frequency, that would be F3, of 108 megahertz. That gives me the entire FM band right there. See? So and I can hit escape and get rid of the printing on the screen. And you can also set your amplitude by going to your reference level, which we already did. So let's bring the reference level back down to 0. So 0 dBm. And that'll drop me down and give me a picture of everything that's on there. So, and you can also, in this one, you can go to 1, 2, 3, 4 for amplitude units. So you hit F4. That's your wrong. That's log lin. 1, 2, 3, 5. Hit F5, and you can select from the different units you want to measure. So if I want to measure, I don't know, 5 volts watts, hit F5, and that's watts, and that shows me I'm at 20 picowatts or somewhere around there. So it's not showing much, but we don't know what we're reading either. So how do we get to your markers? Well, that you have to use it to type it in because it's not available for these buttons up here. So you can also, in command mode, you can type things in. So let's say we want to find the peak. What is our highest peak on there? Well, you can type in MKPK, and what do you want? You want marker high. So I want the highest peak, and that'll give me right there, which is at 97.9. I don't have much input, so it's about 97.9. And we're at about 8 nanowatts. So let's go back up here and do F1 for dBm. So we're 50 dB down. So you can do all this kind of stuff on the just with the keyboard. And there are lots of things you can do. I mean, there is, let's see, where did I go? Here it is. Just to show you the programming manual, it has just everything that you could possibly imagine for commands. There's alignments and attenuation. Like if we type in AT attenuation 10 dB, I think, is it 10 dBm? No. Yeah, it says command R. Didn't like that. AT 10 dB? No. Yeah, it does. Attenuation is set at 10 dB. It's all kinds of stuff you can do. And if you get yourself so locked up that you can't figure out what you're doing, you can type in IP, and it just completely resets the whole thing back to factory standards or wherever your initial setting is set. So we can do, from command line, we can do CF for center frequency. And for center frequency, let's say 99.7 MZ for megahertz. And I want an SP for span of 1 megahertz. And there we go. So you can do so much stuff from here. I just wanted to let you guys know that, so that if you've got one of these ESA-L1500s, or what is the other one? The other one is a E4411 from the people that bought HP. Can't remember their name. I'll try to add a note later. But you can do all this stuff right from the keyboard. So, hey, they're just a quickie little demonstration. Show you what this thing will do. And if you want to set this thing in the back of your bench and not have to reach over and touch it all the time, you can just type it into your keyboard, and once you get good at it, you can do it. The only thing I haven't been able to find is I can't, if I turn on like a marker, I can move that marker around with the dial knob on the front here. See my marker? There it is. See it? Or if I go to frequency, I can change my frequency with the dial knob. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that, so I guess you just have to type it in. Anyhow, hey, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more of this stuff. And if you want to support me, head on over to patreon.com/AERVblog. I most certainly would appreciate it. Till next time.